Facebook wasn't the first thing I built. I also built chat systems and games, study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. I don't know how to build a dam. I don't know how to get 1 million people involved in anything. Well, let me tell you a secret. No one does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
It's 2025. The world doesn't slow down, not for anyone. Every morning, over 5 million new businesses try to make a mark online. AI writes code in seconds. Markets shift overnight. One viral post can change someone's life or destroy a brand. In this hyper-digital jungle, the old advice, wake up early, grind hard, repeat, isn't enough anymore. That hustle culture blueprint, it's outdated. Because in this era, success isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things every single day. But here's the twist. There's a new class of entrepreneurs quietly dominating the game. They don't brag. They don't burn out. They build fast, calm, and ruthlessly focused. You won't always see them trending, but their impact, unmissable. They move with a rhythm the rest of the world can't quite hear. A rhythm built on a set of habits, so precise, so intentional, it almost looks effortless. So what are they doing differently? This isn't some productivity hack list or billionaire morning routine fantasy. This is real. I've spent months digging into what separates the entrepreneurs who thrive in 2025 from the ones who fade out. And what I found? Just 7 core daily habits. 7 simple but powerful rituals that shape not just business outcomes but mindsets, relationships, and long-term freedom. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just know the habits, you'll start seeing the world like they do, faster, sharper, clearer. And you'll realize this new era of entrepreneurship, it's not about having an edge, it's about becoming one. Let's start with the habit that separates the amateurs from the unstoppable, the AI-augmented morning routine. Because here's the truth. In 2025, waking up early isn't impressive anymore. Everyone's doing that. What matters is what you do in that first golden hour, and more importantly, what you don't waste time doing yourself. The smartest entrepreneurs, they're not drowning in to-do lists. They're delegating their thinking. Before they even finish their coffee, their AI assistant has already scanned global news, summarized industry shifts, tracked competitors, analyzed overnight data, and even drafted ideas for content or product tweaks, all while most people are still doom scrolling Instagram. Sounds extreme. It's not. It's essential. According to the 2025 World Economic Forum, 60% of employers now say that AI fluency is a core advantage. And in a world flooded with noise, the ones who rise are those who can filter it fast. But here's the real flex. They're not using AI to do more busy work. They're using it to clear mental space, to think bigger, act smarter, and stay 10 moves ahead. And this idea, it's not even new. The ancient Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the art of imagining everything that could go wrong each day, not to panic, but to prepare with precision. Today's founders have modernized that. They run simulations, they ask their AI, what are my blind spots? What's the worst case scenario? How do I win anyway? Take the founder of Horus ML, a startup revolutionizing clinical decision-making. His day starts before sunrise, but not with a journal or a jog, with a custom-built AI dashboard that highlights real-time medical trends, FDA alerts, and competitor research. By 6:30 a.m., he's already ahead of 99% of his industry. This isn't science fiction, it's daily practice. And as Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. If Aristotle were alive today, he'd probably have GPT plugged into his morning strategy call. So ask yourself, are you waking up and reacting to the world, or are you waking up and engineering it? Might be the most underrated superpower in the entire digital world, because in 2025, focus is a currency and most people are broke. We live in a world designed to distract you. Ping, buzz, swipe. Your phone is a slot machine. Your inbox is endless. Your to-do list, it's growing faster than your progress. And somehow, we've mistaken being busy for being productive. But the most successful entrepreneurs today, they know better. They're not reacting all day. They're building in silence. They've mastered the art of deep work, that sacred zone where everything else disappears and real breakthroughs happen. Because here's the truth, your next $1 million idea isn't buried in a Slack thread. It's hiding behind 90 minutes of uninterrupted, focused thinking, the kind you can't fake. A 2024 Deloitte report revealed that 77% of workers are burned out. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because they're trapped in shallow work, constant tasks, notifications, and meetings that leave no room for actual progress. But deep work? That's where the magic is. It's rare, it's powerful, and it's exactly what this economy rewards, whether you're writing code, crafting strategy, or solving real problems no algorithm can touch. This habit has ancient roots. Zen monks call it zazen, single-pointed concentration. Sitting still, thinking deep, focusing the mind like a laser. Modern entrepreneurs have evolved that into something tactical. They create sacred, deep work blocks. Time with no meetings, no distractions, no multitasking, just pure mental output. One founder we studied, a software architect behind a rapidly scaling fintech startup, bans all meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are his deep work days. That's when he writes core infrastructure code, maps long-term strategy, and solves problems that others can't even see coming. The result? His company just doubled valuation in 6 months. As Cal Newport said, deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's a skill that allows you to quickly master complicated information and produce better results in less time. And guess what? It's not about being smarter. It's about being unavailable to anything that doesn't move the needle. So the question is, are you scrolling through chaos or building in silence? Habit 3 isn't about collecting LinkedIn connections. It's about building a movement. In 2025, networking has evolved. It's no longer about handing out business cards or dropping DMs hoping for a reply. The most successful entrepreneurs today aren't just networking. They're leading communities with intention, purpose, and heart. Because here's what they've realized. Success isn't just about who you know. It's about who you grow with. A recent 2025 Deloitte report shows that over 90% of millennials and Gen Z want to work with purpose, not just profit. They don't just want jobs, they want meaning. They're building tribes around shared missions, and if your brand doesn't have one, you're invisible. And that's why today's top founders are doing something radically different. They're not climbing ladders, they're building tables and pulling others up with them. Think about that. It's not just networking, It's community architecture. Take the founder of Ocean EcoStructures, for example. She's not just creating tech to restore marine biodiversity. She's the heart of a vibrant, daily connected network of marine biologists, oceanographers, activists, and impact investors. They talk, they share data, they support one another. Her success doesn't come from viral tweets. It comes from authentic relationships built over time around a mission that matters. This is ancient wisdom, reborn. The Greeks called it a philia, deep, meaningful friendship rooted in shared values. And in today's entrepreneurial world, philia isn't just noble, it's strategic. Because in a market flooded with noise, people follow trust. They follow alignment. They follow people who give a damn. That's why this habit is non-negotiable. Everyday successful founders invest in relationships, not for gain, but for growth. They mentor, they host micro events, they comment thoughtfully. They create spaces where people feel seen and empowered. And in return, they don't just build companies, they build movements. As the old African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So here's the question. Are you chasing followers? Or are you cultivating a community that would follow you anywhere? Habit 4 is the secret weapon of modern founders who don't burn out. They build smart. It's called asynchronous communication and strategic delegation. Because here's the hard truth about hustle culture in 2025. If you're still in back-to-back Zoom calls all day, answering every ping, every email, every quick question, you're not leading, you're drowning. And while you're busy reacting to every notification, the most successful entrepreneurs, they've opted out of the noise and built systems that work without them. In fact, a 2024 report shows that employees lose over 3 hours a day to pointless meetings. That's 15 hours a week, 780 hours a year. Gone. But imagine if you got even half of that back to think, build, innovate, breathe. That's where async comes in. The new entrepreneurial elite don't live in their inbox. They don't need to be always on. They communicate with intention, not urgency. And they delegate with trust, not control. Just look at the Taoists. They called it Wu Wei, effortless action. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means letting go of what you don't need to control. So your energy flows where it actually matters. Today, that philosophy looks like this. Instead of real-time stand-ups, teams leave video updates. Instead of chasing someone down for status, everything's visible in project tools. Instead of micromanaging tasks, leaders delegate outcomes and let talented people do what they do best. One standout example: a CEO running a fast-scaling, fully remote tech company. Not a single daily meeting on the calendar. Instead, each team member records short Loom updates. They track everything through Notion. And the founder? He spends mornings strategizing, not replying to Slack. That's not laziness, that's efficiency with purpose. And in a world where a 2025 NSBA survey shows that over half of small business owners are feeling economic pressure, the ones who thrive aren't working harder, they're working wiser. As Peter Drucker said, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. In 2025, the right thing is clear. Delegate deeply, communicate intentionally, and protect your time like it's equity, because it is. So ask yourself, are you spending your day proving you're busy? Or are you designing a system that lets you lead without losing yourself? Habit 5 is the one most people ignore until it's too late. It's not flashy. It won't trend on LinkedIn. But it might be the single most important reason some founders last and others burn out in silence. It's called the digital detox. Here's the thing. In 2025, We are more connected than ever and more mentally exhausted than we've ever been. Founders are constantly wired in: Slack, Discord, notifications, AI dashboards, 14 browser tabs open before breakfast. But the truth: creativity doesn't happen in chaos, it happens in stillness. A 2025 Founder Reports survey found that 34.4% of entrepreneurs are burned out, and over 50% wrestle with anxiety. And that's just the ones who admitted it. But the ones who are still thriving, still building with clarity and purpose, they've made disconnection a daily discipline. They understand something most people miss. Rest isn't a reward. It's part of the job. One founder we studied, scaling a mission-driven startup at lightning speed, has a simple but powerful rule. No phone after 8 p.m. every Saturday, completely offline, hiking, nature, no meetings, no metrics, just presence. And the result? More focus, more breakthroughs. And when chaos inevitably hits, more resilience. This isn't laziness, it's a strategy. It's the same reason Socrates walked the streets of Athens asking questions that changed the world. Introspection requires space. And space doesn't exist when your brain is always plugged in. But that discovery, that clarity, it doesn't come through a screen, it comes through silence. So here's the question no one asks founders, but every successful one answers for themselves. When was the last time you unplugged? Not just from your phone, but from your identity as a founder. Because if you're always on, you'll never hear the thoughts that actually move your business and your life forward. Habit 6 is what separates the founders who stay relevant from the ones who quietly vanish. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about being the fastest to learn, adapt, and evolve, again and again and again. This is the power of the iterative learning loop, the daily habit of asking better questions, absorbing new ideas, and turning lessons into action. And in 2025, this isn't optional, it's vital. The World Economic Forum now predicts that by 2030, nearly 40% of all skill sets will be obsolete or completely transformed. That's not in the distant future. That's it for now. And the entrepreneurs who win, they're not clinging to what worked last year. They're relentlessly upgrading themselves. Just look at the founder of Agility Robotics, a company on the cutting edge of automation and humanoid robotics. Every single morning, before checking emails or hopping into meetings, they carve out time to read research papers, analyze academic breakthroughs, and engage with deep thinkers in the space. Not because it's cool, but because they know if you're not learning, you're slowly dying in a world that won't wait for you to catch up. This is a modern take on something ancient. The Socratic method, not lecturing, but questioning, not assuming, but exploring. The best founders don't pretend to have answers. They chase better questions daily. And let's not forget, a 2025 Shopify report found that founders who stay curious, launching e-commerce experiments, testing tools, iterating on their websites, are far more likely to survive and scale. Because in the new economy, the winners aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who can learn, unlearn, and relearn at speed. Or, as Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So ask yourself, when was the last time you challenged your own assumptions? When was the last time you learned something that made you uncomfortable and grew because of it? Because in 2025, adaptability is intelligence. And every day you stay curious is a day your competition stays behind. Habit 7 is the soul of modern entrepreneurship. It's what separates the businesses that just make noise from the ones that make history. It's called the impact-first mindset, And in 2025, it's not a nice to have, it's your greatest competitive advantage. Because here's what's changed. Customers don't just buy products anymore, they buy purpose. They don't want clever slogans. They want to know, what do you stand for? Who do you serve? And why does your business deserve to exist? A 2025 Deloitte survey confirms it. Brands that lead with purpose attract better talent, stronger loyalty, and more meaningful growth. And Gen Z. Over 62% say they expect real, tangible commitment to social good, not performative, but proven. The best founders have already figured this out. They're not building empires. They're building ecosystems where profit serves purpose, not the other way around. Just look at the founder of Wisp, a voice tech startup giving speech back to those who've lost it. Their daily ritual, talking directly with users, not through analytics dashboards, but in real, emotional conversations with people whose lives have changed because of their product. And guess what? That daily reminder of why they build fuels them more than any metric ever could. This mindset goes all the way back to Plato's idea of the good, the belief that the highest form of success isn't personal gain, but the pursuit of something that uplifts others. And that's exactly what the greats do. They build for impact first and let revenue follow the ripple. So if you're just chasing numbers, think again, because in 2025, the market doesn't just ask, what do you sell? It asks, what do you stand for? As Peter Drucker might have said, the purpose of a business is to create a customer, but the purpose of a great business is to create a better world. And that's the final habit, the one that turns a founder into a force for change. So here's your moment of truth. Are you building something that people will remember, or something that people will feel because it mattered? Now you've seen it. The truth behind the founders who don't just survive 2025, they thrive in it. They're not superheroes. They're not running on caffeine and chaos. They're not grinding themselves into the ground. They're winning because they've built systems, not stress. Because they choose deep focus over digital noise, purpose over profit, resilience over burnout. And they do it not with luck, but with daily, intentional habits that compound into something extraordinary. These 7 rituals. They're not rules, they're a framework, a rhythm you can build your own version of. And the best part? You don't need to do all 7 tomorrow. Just start with 1. Pick a habit, live it, watch what happens. Because the real power of success in 2025 isn't in doing more. It's in doing what matters, with consistency, clarity, and courage. Start small, stay consistent, lead with intention, and you won't just build a business, you'll build a life that's worth waking up for. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment with the habit you're committing to. Subscribe for more deep dives like this. And most importantly, build boldly.